Hello, and in this final episode of this trilogy, I want to talk about why I think art's important and why I've decided to get back into it. Because for the past 20 minutes, if you've been watching the whole series, it's just been me talking about the interpretations of it, the different forms of it, why you should try to do it. If you'd like, obviously, I'm not going to force you or like find out who watched this and berate you if you didn't. Uh, but I think it's important to know, from my standpoint, why I think all of it's important. And I guess we'll just get right into it. Uh, so, art to me is super important because, like I said at the end of last episode, it allows people to express themselves in a way that they maybe otherwise can't, whether it's through music or drawings or paintings or sculptures or whatever. It's if it's something that can help anybody in any way, why not give it a shot? And that's what I've been doing is I've been finding myself really not having the urge to play video games as much, not listening to music, and I wanted to find a hands-on thing to just that I could do when I needed to. Does that make sense? That I could sit down and I could just start doing at any given point in time. And for me, that's art. That's, well, all of it's art, like I've been saying. It's drawing. And I'm not the best at it, but I enjoy it. And I think that if you are somebody who doesn't have some sort of medium or thinks that they are not artistic in any way, give any of it a try. Maybe you need to make music. Maybe you need to write poetry. And I don't want to repeat myself too much from the last video, but I feel like everybody is able to do it to some capacity. It's just the matter of putting yourself out there and trying it, not being afraid of others, what others think, not worrying whether or not people are going to like it. And that can be hard because just working on this drawing for this series alone, I can tell you that if you're somebody who doesn't draw or anything, I can tell you that for a fact, you're going to be harder on yourself than anybody else. Like, well, not always. Sometimes people are just going to harass your work because that's what people do. But chances are, if you're showing people you trust and you love and everything your art, there's little things like I will save what I drew for the end of the video. I tried to color it in. I was having doubts about coloring it in, and I decided I was going to anyway. I think it's a mistake, but then again, I was also told it looked really good. Um, and that's the thing is there was little parts here and there where I was telling one of my friends like, I think this doesn't look right, or I don't like how that turned out, and they were like, no, it looks fine. Like you're doing an amazing job. And normally you hear things like that when you're working on stuff. You think it's from a place of patronizing, but from this friend, I know for a fact it wasn't. I know it was genuine, and but the thing is I shouldn't have worried about that to begin with. A big part of art is learning to love what you're able to do. Like this drawing took me 3 days. Granted, I don't have a ton of time to work on it, but I've put probably 6 hours into it, or close to 5, 6 hours. And whereas that may sound like a lot of time to some people, to other people that'll sound like seconds, a New York minute, because they'll spend up to weeks on drawings. Uh, and that's just not time that I have, unfortunately. And some people learn to work around it, and I think that's really cool too. Is when you find yourself in a form of art that you are so enveloped in that you make time for it. And that's something that I'm actively trying to figure out. That's why I started drawing again. And that's why it's important to me is I feel like let's say you have someone who doesn't generally express their feelings, which is me, okay? I'm able to take art and put my feelings into that. Even if the art isn't expressing how I'm feeling, it's a way for me to get my feelings out without, not that I would, but without hurting myself or others. But it's a way for, it's an outlet. And any form of art can be that. It could be music. That used to be for me, but then I found that in order to make music, I had to make myself like borderline depressed. And that's not a healthy way to do it. But with drawing, it's something you can just do, you know, and that's what it is for me. For some people, it's freestyling, which is another thing I used to do. Painting, which is not something I used to do. I can't paint for the life of me. I'm sure. Let me take that back. There should be no can'ts with art because, like I've stated several times throughout this miniseries, there's no right or wrong. There's no good or bad. It's completely objective. Objective? Is that correct? Sure, we'll stick with it. And it just, as long as you feel the heart that was put into it, and as long as you feel, even if that comes with stress, because I'll tell you, with this drawing, it's not going to be Picasso, but it stressed me out because I wanted to put that emotion into it. Not stress, but actual emotion. And I did. I'm proud of it. Like, some people are going to look at it and be like, oof, my goof, brother. And some people are going to look at it and be like, I can see the solid attempt, or that looks really good. Or they're going to be like, whoa, this isn't a drawing, you just took a picture. Probably not that last one. But I digress. I think people need to be more open to trying art, trying new things. And that's kind of been the whole background meaning of this whole series is don't be afraid to get out there and try these things. People are going to judge you no matter what you do. But in that, people are also going to support you no matter what you do. You can take that however you'd like. I think it's incredible. I also think it's kind of depressing in a way, but not the point. As long as you're happy with the work at the end of it, or even throughout the whole process, that's what should matter. And that's why I think it's important, is it can be something people can enjoy, whether it's on their own or with someone else or anything. Sorry, I'm droning off here. I underestimated how much time all of this would take. But at the end of the day, I was going to postpone it, but I was like, you know what? No. Not because of a lack of wanting to try or effort, but because I think it's important to see sometimes the amount of energy that needs to go into it and the amount of effort. And it's taken a lot. Like, I usually don't expend any energy. I'm just clicking with my thumbs in a game, but I wanted this to be something important and something that I look back on in the future. It's not movie quality. It doesn't need to be. At the end of the day, I'm very happy with all of this turned out. The drawing, the videos, the little edits that were here and there. And that essentially, like I've said, is what art is about. What does your work mean to you? What does your effort make you feel? You know? And if it makes other people feel things, that's awesome too. But it doesn't need to for it to be art. All that matters is that you know what you've accomplished. And even if you think it's garbage and you throw it away, you still tried. All right? Yeah. This is like the second or third time during this series where I felt my emotions being really pushed into this. And it's not often that I do content where that happens. So I enjoyed this. I enjoyed this a lot. and I hope you did as well. I hope you can take something from it. Hope maybe you can learn something. And, you know, I hope this, if you have no art go to, this series maybe made you think, well, maybe I could dabble in this a little bit. Or maybe I could go back and retry that. And at the end of the day, as long as you're happy with it at the end of it, I'd say you did a good job. So, thank you for watching, and I hope you're having a good day. If you're watching early on, have a good rest of your day. I'll see you in the next one, and, you know, don't be afraid to express yourself. I am Sheff, and this is officially the end of our first year on the channel. See ya.